Straight out of Maryland, we have with us Chelsea1225. Why are you laughing? Did I say it wrong?
No.
All right. Straight out of Maryland is Chelsea1225. Good friend, great partner. We're glad to have her here on the West Coast in California. Learn a few things, a few tips and tricks on our products. Do some media. Of course, we're all about the media. But mostly, we just wanted to get her out of Maryland.
There's less humidity here. It's very nice here, even though they think it's cold.
It's freezing, dude. It's like 55 today or some shit like that.
Yeah, see, that's like t-shirt weather for
That's
me.
that's like snow day weather for us.
Yeah, no.
Like,
It's like in
forget
the 30s in Maryland right now.
Nah, no way, forget it. Maryland. Okay.
I know you're attempting to say it like me. That's why I can tell.
I just want you to feel at home. I just want to talk your language. That's all. I tried the EV thing. That didn't work, obviously. So I just want to,
You can say it how you usually say it. I've been judged because when you are from Maryland, you just say Maryland. And
No judging here. We're all family.
there is judging, but it's okay.
Our sister out of Maryland.
I'm judging California for being bougie. So you can judge us for how we talk.
I'm not like, look, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad. I hope you don't take me as the representative of California. So diesel hotties, how do we I always like to ask this question, during our podcast and the get to know segment. This is the get to know segment of our podcast. I'll get to know Chelsea1225. By the way, for those that don't know what 1225 means, obviously Chelsea is Chelsea. But tell us what's the 1225, because I wasn't really until recently, honestly, that I even found out what 1225 meant.
It's actually my birthday. My birthday's on Christmas.
Her birthday's on Christmas. So all of you out there in social media land, make sure you send her a happy birthday on Christmas along with a Christmas greeting.
I'm really mean because people who do know me and have my phone number, I tell them that if they text me Merry Christmas but not Happy Birthday, I don't respond back.
Okay, so do you expect a Christmas gift and a birthday gift? How does that work?
We usually celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve, and then we'll celebrate my birthday on Christmas Day.
Well, you really are special then, huh?
I am special.
Totally.
My parents have been really good about it.
Like mom couldn't just hold it in another day or
she
something
really
like that?
tried.
Yeah.
She literally, there's pictures of her opening presents that morning because she was while she's having contractions, because she really did not want to have me on Christmas.
My water broke, but give me another present.
Yeah. she held until 9 p.m. and then it was it was all
almost, huh?
She was so close.
God.
Yeah. Unfortunate. But
Yeah,
I was the best present for her.
Definitely, huh? Yeah. So, would you guys start labor that day and just head out to the hospital and bam, there you are at 9 p.m.?
I don't know. I was in her belly, or I guess her uterus. So I don't really know.
You never heard the story? You actually popped out on Christmas Day, though.
I mean, the only thing I asked was did she crap on me? Because you know how when women have
yeah, I've heard, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they have a pre-cleaning system for that now.
I don't know. I have never had something come out of that area, so I really don't know how it works.
All right. Well, maybe we can promise ourselves we can do a little research before our next podcast.
Okay.
We can maybe update the situation to everybody.
Okay, we'll do.
All right. So at Chelsea1225, I always like to go through the how do we pop on each other's radar type thing. And being just being what I am. It's I know we probably popped on your radar before you popped on our radar.
That is true.
So how'd you find out about us?
You guys actually reached out. So
you're saying we reached out to you didn't reach out to us?
Correct. Believe it or not, it is real. And I don't know why, but you did.
And so when we reached out to you, what was so fundamentally appealing about the reach out there? Okay, what's going on here? What do we do right, I guess? How are we so blessed to have made that first contact in a positive manner?
Well, you politely mentioned that you didn't see any commitment to any actual detailing products, or didn't even know what products I was using. So you asked to send how could we collaborate? and I was a little mean, and I was like, "Well, I need to actually test your product before I commit to anything." Just because I'm very about, like, making sure something's, like, legit. So you were
Yeah,
really
no, for
nice.
sure. I mean, even honestly, even if you had not said that, eventually in our, like, probably our first conversation, I would have said, "Hey, Chelsea 1225, it would be very important to me, and I'm sure to you as well, and I still do it to this day, actually, that I send you some stuff so you can use it because I don't want you to promote the brand or the product if you just do not feel it's right for you."
And I think you guys handled it really nicely because you respected that I said that comment, and you did send out products for Aaron and I to try, and that's how we really started off because we really did fall in love with it.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. So the introduction, and for those that don't know that, Erin is Chelsea's fiance, and we actually so Erin was introduced to our product by you, through you. Is that correct?
He knew I was starting to work with you guys, like at least just for my truck, having products. So
Oh,
he got to use some of it.
so did you introduce us to Erin then? Because I'm trying to figure like how.
I don't,
I think that's what ended up happening. I think I seem to remember it now. And I at my advanced age, I'm going to use that as a
yeah,
disclaimer.
yeah,
This may
well,
not be an actual true scenario, but I like it enough in my mind that I'm going with it.
okay.
But I think what ended up happening is that this is going back to 2019.
Hmm.
Um, we made contact. I sent you some stuff. You tried it out, and I think you had mentioned to me, "Oh, by the way, my boyfriend Aaron is going to SEMA." And that's when
Yeah.
I kind of put one and one together. So, oh, okay, if Aaron is going to SEMA, and if he's liked our stuff, maybe we can work with him going into the show.
Hmm.
I think that's how the introduction to Aaron occurred.
That actually that makes more sense.
I
Yeah,
think that's what I seem to remember.
because you guys helped, like you guys cleaned his truck at
Right,
SEMA.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what we ended up doing is part of our sponsorship to the SEMA builds going into 2019 as we would sponsor, um, as they call it, an executive wash, basically a cleaning before they're parked. And Aaron was one of the individuals that were involved that was involved in that. Yeah, that makes
Mm,
sense
that does
now.
make more sense.
That
I
makes
wasn't
sense.
putting together when everything
Yeah, I
happened.
was trying to figure out. It's like there's just like I kept thinking about it all week. It's like there's just it would have to me it would have been like too much like coincidental circumstance for us to be dealing with Chelsea and Aaron at the same time, but neither one of you knowing about it. There was some connection somewhere.
I really felt like you were just using me to get to Aaron. Like that's how the vibe went. I
You know,
think you truly wanted Aaron.
we do like Aaron more,
I
but
understand.
you are more active on social media, so
Yeah, that's true. He needs to get his life together, but we're getting there. We're getting there. He's a lot nicer. Well, on all like seriousness, everyone on social media thinks he's mean, but in person,
oh
everyone
yeah,
believes he's
no,
so
he's
nice.
a gem. Yeah, I remember meeting him at SEMA. I was like, oh my god, this guy's just like. I walked up and I said, listen, if you don't have a girlfriend, there are a lot of girls I know that are.
No, you did not. I don't even know how to respond to that. I'm like,
Did I tell you
dang
podcasts are
it.
all about shit talking?
Yeah,
Vlogs,
yeah.
podcasts, whatever. It's all about you.
It's all good.
Just
It's all
all
good.
good. Just try to catch you
But
up.
this is why when you catch me off guard, I make faces because I'm trying to process what I want to. Because like,
That's the mathematician coming out.
do
Like, what's the
I?
probability of this being an accurate statement?
Well, no. I to myself, I'm like, wow, I could really say something back, but it could be completely mean.
All right.
And then I'm like, should I? Should I not? And then I get all conflicted.
So, anyway, to continue the chronology of our history.
Okay.
So, anyway, roaming around SEMA 2019, and 2019, like it was just a freaking zoo. You remember how it was in 2019? It was like
Hmm.
we just did SEMA last year, of course, and I think maybe because we had a bit more experience under our belt, both in terms of SEMA, but also in terms of like just having done so many shows last year, we were just just more. like just more experienced in what to do and how to do it. And even that SEMA 2021 was still a very trying experience for everybody, I'm sure. But 2019 was just like, we didn't have a booth in 2019 because, SEMA basically said, hey, you're like, don't have enough seniority to pick the booth that you want. So they kind of like said, but they had to give me a booth. So it's like, these are the 4 booths that are available to you. And they're like in just very terrible locations. So I said, like, you know what? I'm just not going to have a booth. And what I did instead was, like I said, I sponsored for a wash and for the detailing a number of SEMA vehicles going in, because I felt that, and at the end of the day, it's still, and we'll talk more about this, all about media. And so getting the builds in and getting them clean and doing the media of them being clean and doing media with them as they're parked at the different booths or outside, that was of more value to me than just standing at a booth, and at that time anyway, and trying to participate if I'm in the corner of North Hall at that time.
Mhm.
So I spent a lot of my time running around, just doing media, taking pictures and talking to people and, networking, all that kind of fun stuff. And of course, taking pictures. And I was I forgot which hall it was. Which hall were we? South Hall or something like that? I can't remember.
No, we were outside.
No, when I first met you and Aaron, like I was talking to.
Oh, no, we were
Carlos.
inside.
Yeah, I was talking to Carlos from Team Billet. And like I was like, okay, I know that's Aaron, and that's like, okay, that's got to be Chelsea with him, I think. I assumed.
That'd have been really awkward if it wasn't.
No, I recognized you actually, because most of everything we had done basically at that point had just been basically social media.
Mm-hmm.
It just basically is. And it really, I don't know if it really wasn't a lot. Like, it's not like, it was like a big fervor of activity. It was like, okay, we were doing some stuff and it was all nice and cool and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I don't know how I got into this whole storytelling thing. Am I telling too many stories? Am I like an old man type, like, fireside chat type shit or something like that? Or it's like I'm just rambling on and talking about like history.
You just need a fire, a picture of a fire.
You know what? Can we get a fucking fire? I
could have hot chocolate.
Let's get
hot chocolate.
Yeah. I might do that. Maybe get a cardigan or some shit like that. One of those, like, like fold up cardigans that says something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I might as well fucking live the role, huh?
All right.
Anyway, so like I look out of the corner of my eyes, like, wait a fucking minute. I know those guys and gals. And I said, Carl, excuse me for a few minutes. And I went and I was like, you guys were walking, and both Aaron and Chelsea, the Almighty has blessed them with some height. So like they've walked very fast. So I was trying to catch up with them. It's like each one of their strides, like a stride and a half of mine, like, oh my God, I hope I can catch up with these guys. And, I find like, and I tap you on the back and you turn around and can you like raise one eyebrow? Just look at me. There you go. That's what I got.
Yeah.
Like,
my facial expressions tell all.
Like, looked at me. She's like,
I had no idea what you looked like.
She wanted, like, I know she said, she just looked at me and like, I said, hi, I'm Rami from Renegade. But I know that before I said, hi, I'm Rami from Renegade, her facial expression was like, who the fuck are you?
If someone came up to you and you didn't know who they were.
Yeah. And that was way before, like back in those days, Chelsea, dude, I was like strictly Wizard of Oz, always behind the curtain. Like, I
know. That's why I never knew what you looked like.
You never saw me on public, media, or Facebook or Instagram, or I was never in videos, never in pictures. I was just like, even to this day, I consider myself a very shy guy. I just don't like I've been thrust into this public profile and I must live the part because somebody has to on behalf of the organization. And I guess that's going to be me. So anyway, we made, I guess it would be a very, if I said, it was a warm introduction, it would be a liberal use of the word warm.
The first thing Rami said when he came up to me after he said hello and I figured out who he was, he said, oh, you're a lot taller in person. Yeah,
well, every time I saw a picture of you, you're next to your truck that's like, 40 feet off the ground. Says, oh, she must be like, I don't know, 4'8". or something like that. I was just like, I mean, like I wasn't unhappy with your height. Don't get me wrong. It's just that like I was just you just caught me off guard.
I was just like, it was like, to me, I was like, okay. I don't know if I like this guy.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Really?
Surprisingly, that's what I say. It's like, really?
Damn.
That's exactly what I say. Really?
No, it wasn't too bad. But yeah, it was definitely because, like I said, you just never saw pictures of you, so I just didn't know who you
Yeah,
were.
yeah. No. Actually, I made it like I'm just like I was deadly afraid. Like if you had told me like a couple of years ago, I'd be sitting here with a couple of cameras, lights, talking to like doing a podcast. I'd like, no, you're out of your mind. That's just not me at all. Forget it.
Yeah, I definitely know that feeling.
Yeah, but I think that serves a lesson to a lot of people out there now as we kind of talk a bit more about the whole social media experience. Um, to me, it kind of like opened up my eyes. Like, okay, listen, like, and to try to step into a role of helping people, mentoring really is kind of like, and I try, I want my partners to be successful, whether they're more like, I would consider you a partner that's got a lot of you understand a lot of the scene. You know what you have to do. You don't need a lot of hand holding. You understand whether it's intuitive or not. You know what you need to do for your social media success. And there are, and the diesel hotties, we'll talk about the diesel hotties in a little bit. There are a lot of other people in the community that just either they don't get it or they're afraid to get it or they're afraid to apply themselves. And I know my commentary to everybody is like, hey, listen, if you can get a dude like me to hop in front of a camera or whether it's a phone or a staged environment like this to do reels and TikToks and everything else, really anybody can do it. I am serious. What do you think about that kind of stuff?
So when I was actually in SEMA 2019, I spoke to Durmax Jack. He stopped Aaron and I. I think we were in like the Wet Sounds booth, and we were talking, and I was telling him how it'd be really nice because a lot of people want to see me actually working on my truck because you can post a picture, but it's another thing to actually do it. So I'm like kind of telling the reasonings why I don't video myself because like I'm learning. Do people really want to see like someone trying to teach me and then me going back and trying to video? He's like, I hope you don't take this wrong. But you're just making excuses. At the end of the day, you're just making excuses. You just need to do it. You can always cut. You can always like show, like that's the real life. Like if you are newly coming into a world, I never really picked up any tools until I actually got my truck. Like I did a little bit on my motorcycle when I had it, but I did nothing in extreme that I've done with my
Sure.
first gen.
Mm-hmm.
So like for him to put those like to just say you're making excuses, it was like real.
Kind of an eye opener for you.
Yeah. So, and I think, I definitely went through a struggle because initially my page, especially Instagram where I grew, was just all modeling pages, like all modeling pictures because that was something I felt beautiful in and that's what I posted.
So when did you start your Instagram? Just out of curiosity, how long has it been up?
Since 2013.
Well, okay. So if we went, and unfortunately, Instagram doesn't have a way to let you
Go all the way to the bottom.
Yeah, it doesn't index. You can't search for October 2013 of all the pictures you posted. But if you're saying we had gone back and we're able to go back in time and do that, most of what we'd see in Chelsea's early years are mostly modeling pictures then.
No, beginning
No?
is like me, like the extreme filter, like high school, like senior year. So I had like a little bit because I wasn't initially even in social media. I was so like when I was in high school, I was so introvert. Like I didn't talk to people. I was just the girl that people cheated on for like their homework and their tests. Like I wasn't that girl that was considered attractive
You
or
weren't the
anything.
popular girl, is what you're saying.
No, absolutely not. I got bullied all the time. So, when we started the Ridgely Car Show, which was before Diesel Hottie time, it's a show that does all classic cars and all benefits go to various charities and stuff. We did a calendar for all the donations. And that was my first time actually stepping in front of a camera because my mom and I actually had a photography business for a good couple of years and we did weddings and couples, blah, blah, blah. Getting in front of the camera was
That's
first.
still pre-Hotties, right?
That is still,
Yeah.
well, it still occurs every year, but yeah, it was definitely before
Mhm.
Diesel Hotties. That was the first time I actually started posting modeling, and that's what I did. And then when I got my truck, I was trying to switch the niche, I guess, because social media is really hard. Because if you only post modeling pictures, they think like that's all you are.
Right.
And there's so much more. So
Totally.
I was trying to switch it, which is really hard to do.
And when did you get the truck?
2 years ago? I think this
Oh.
June will be 3.
So really up until a couple of years ago. So really we had met about the time that you got your truck?
Yeah, you spoke to me literally the week I got my truck.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
I was known for my motorcycle
Yeah,
for a long
I
time.
do remember a lot of them.
Yeah.
I remember your post about your motorcycle being stolen. I remember
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was
Mhm.
known for that, but
Mhm.
I got my truck and I had my motorcycle for a good bit, but I'll get one eventually. I just haven't got there yet. I'm trying to finish the truck first.
Wow. Okay. I didn't realize that you had, so before the truck, were you doing a lot of posting with your motorcycle? Was it, Chelsea on the
Yeah.
bike mostly?
Well, it wasn't all just my motorcycle, but I did post a lot about it because that was just my life.
Mhm.
But it was either the motorcycle or it was my modeling pictures. So when I switched to showing me behind the scenes with no makeup and working on things and showing kind of more of my
Yeah.
personality, I definitely saw a downfall in the following. Like
No kidding.
yeah, because they
Wow.
were, people were following me to see
They wanted to see the
professional
model
pictures.
pictures. Gotcha.
They didn't really care what was like who I was. So I've been working on it since I got my truck. And I'm finally seeing, I've created enough audience that respect what I'm doing and want to see that.
So did you actually lose followers or just kind of plateaued for a while until you started
Yeah,
building
I probably lost a good like anywhere from 8 to 10,000 followers.
at a time when you had how many?
Um,
Was it like was it a catastrophic drop off?
no, it was like it
What?
was a lot at the beginning. Like you just saw no engagement like
Mhm.
on those type of pictures. But I would say in the span of like 6 months to a year, I lost that many. But like I said, and that's what made me not want to commit to social media. And then this year, like
You just found it discouraging at that point.
yeah, because I wanted to show
Uh-huh.
myself, and I'm like, why don't people want to see
Right.
that?
So it wasn't until you really rebuilt your audience with a
Mhm.
whole new set of parameters that you saw those coming back around, and those numbers coming back around.
Yeah, and I think committing, like actually
Right.
posting every day and engaging and responding is what's helping a lot.
Right. And I know a lot of creators out there and it's even like more, I think easier to do on TikTok, or you forget to do it on TikTok really, because that's such a fast growing and just it's a very fluid environment. But you brought up like engagement with your followers. So do you try to acknowledge comments and do the likes and all that kind of fun stuff? Is that how much you do of that?
I do try on my pictures to at least go like, and then if there's like a legit question or like I see
Mhm.
one of like my like the girls from Diesel Hotties comment and stuff, like I try to engage and answer. Sometimes it gets like
It's time consuming.
it
Huh?
is really time consuming, and people get really offended if you don't
Yeah.
respond back.
I think that's one of the tough parts. I mean, we have obviously a much smaller page than you do as a product page, but even just sometimes keeping track of the tags is just like, oh my God, it's like, and you don't sit there just repost tag after tag after tag after tag, but it's just like, oh, it's just sometimes.
Well, it's one thing, but like I have a full-time job. Like
Mhm.
it's not something I'm not on my phone all day. And before this year, I was in an environment where I couldn't have any electronics. So literally I was down like
You're,
out of
you're
out of the world and until I got off work.
most of your day, really.
Yeah, and I was literally programming on a screen all day. So you don't really want to be on your phone or be on a laptop as soon as you get home. Like you just want to enjoy the day. So
Sure. Yeah.
but I think now that this year I've had a new perspective and I'm just having fun with it.
hmm
And at the end of the day, like if I don't get a lot of likes, I don't. But at least I'm being true to myself and I'm true to everyone. I think that's the best way to go
Yeah.
about it.
So tell us about Diesel Hotties. What is Diesel Hotties, and how did what was the brainchild? Why did you guys bring that? Why did you guys give birth to that? What was the reason?
So I mentioned the Ridgely Car Show and the calendars, for the, all proceeds go to the donations. We did a photo shoot because typically it was all like classic cars that we shot with. And then we were like, oh, well, we need to bring a variety because there's a lot of things that, a lot of vehicles that come. So we did like a couple photo shoots with diesel trucks. And
as in like big rigs, or are you talking
no, just, the light duty trucks. We did a couple, we have actually done big rigs for Ridgely Car Show. We just wasn't like, it's just whatever was available at the time.
That had to be a diesel, no EVs or anything like that.
No EVs. We did do gas.
Oh.
I know. But, gas isn't as bad as electric. So.
I guess not,
But I don't even think that was really a thing. But anywho, so, Boss Lady, either, known as Diesel Carbine.
How long have you known Boss Lady?
Since I popped out of her vagina. Oh, can I say that? Her kitty, her taco. I don't know what you want me to say. Or what is it here? Beaver? I don't know.
Beaver's a Midwestern.
Oh, okay.
That's what got me in trouble.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't know.
That's epic.
But she's actually my mom, which a lot of people people are like, wow, or they'll be like, wow, she looks like your sister. But yeah, we've done forever.
I only asked that because I didn't put one and one together at the beginning. I couldn't.
No one does.
Yeah, I was like who is this? I was like,
yeah.
Like it wasn't until later I found out she's Boss Lady's mom. Like, oh, okay, a lot of this stuff is coming together for me now.
Yeah. But
so all right, so you started just doing some light duty photo opportunities basically at Ridgely, or it was just outside of Ridgely?
We did separate like photo shoots, for the calendar. And her and another lady actually were like, a lot of pages you see on Instagram, the type of photos are just not, a lot of conservatives don't respect them because of like, it's like thongs and like things like that. We just wanted to show that you can be beautiful without having to show all of your skin.
Okay.
So they're like, hey, like let's, and I don't know why Diesel's was particularly the type, but they're like, let's just make our own Diesel Hottie thing. Like, let's make a calendar. Shit, like we do it already.
Oh, so the genesis of Diesel Hotties essentially was a calendar.
Yeah. So we shot 40 pages in 2 days.
40 pages of calendar?
So it was a 40-page calendar, and we shot all of the pictures within 2 days. We rounded up 12 girls, trucks that were local, and from when the sun came, we started the day at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and did not end till that sun was completely down.
And the ladies didn't really have a particular affiliation with you, or just like...
No, just people we knew.
Just people you knew.
Yep. We just pulled them together, and the calendar was so successful. Like we sold, I think, like 1,000 within a month.
Great. Now let me ask you about that. So like, you're talking about 2000 what? 18, 19? 16.
Mm-hmm.
2016. And of course there was social media and internet, all that kind of fun stuff at that time. But like, that's a great accomplishment. When you think back to then, 5 or 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years, whatever. How did you market that? What was the marketing genius? How did you guys go to market? Like nobody's heard of Diesel Hotties before, I would imagine, right? It's like, here we are. We have spent this time, money, and effort to create this calendar, and now we're going to sell it. How did you guys do that?
Honestly, it was mainly just posting on Facebook. Like we just made a Facebook page, and that's where we really, I guess, flourished.
You didn't advertise? It was just basically...
No boosting posts. No, like we just reached out to like people we knew on our personal pages. Like,
would you share that kind of stuff? Basically, calling on the team, the friends, people that cared and loved you. Like, share our...
Yeah, and the truck owners, we would collaborate with them. We always give our truck owners a free calendar as well. So like, it was just, there wasn't really much to it. We just put it online, and it just really did well.
Oh, that's crazy.
No website, no anything.
I assume you promoted on your Instagram accounts and sort of the other people.
Yeah, and by that time, I think I had like 20,000 followers. Because like I said, we had somewhat of a build up with Ridgely Car Show, but we didn't even have a Ridgely Car Show Instagram. Like we didn't have even a Ridgely Car Show calendar or like a Facebook page. Like it was just, we just built it. Like I built my personal one off of what I
Now,
did.
are you guys still involved originally?
Yeah. So as you know, Richard Petty comes, Linda Vaughn, all like big stars come to that event. When it is hosted, like we do, that's like one of our big things. And it's actually like 15 minutes from my hometown.
Is that still on calendar for this year?
Yeah, as I know of.
I didn't see it on the calendar we were talking. That's why.
I don't know if they're still discussing like a date.
Mm.
I'm not like honestly, I'm not too sure. Brenda Walls, she's a big contributor into like all that. Every weekend, she'll be at some type of benefit or car event, like trying to find things to auction off. Like, because I said all proceeds go to like the Petty Foundation, Pink Cares Beach Shore, Maryland, like you name it, like it goes to a good cause. So.
Gotcha. Okay. So then, at what point did you guys, after you ran that calendar, you were successful? Like, when you said, "Hey, we're going to start doing some merch," how'd that happen?
Beginning of 2017, we're like, we should actually do something with this. So we opened an application process, and I think we had like about 20 girls, and they were all throughout the U.S.
Mhm.
And we're like, to kind of expand, we traveled to every single state and photograph them, try to create connections, meet shops, diesel shops, and things like that. It was pretty good. And in the middle of that year, she's like, well, I think we need to actually like make some merchandise. So everything when we first started was embroidered. Like all of our logos like was stitched and stuff. And a very good supporter and why we're so big on Pink Cares. Her name was Sydney. She actually helped embroider a lot of our stuff. We lost her to her second round of breast cancer. And that's why if you see any Diesel Hottie wings, like wings on it, those wings are supposed to represent her. Like she helped bring Diesel Hotties to life. So that's when we really started and just been continuing from there.
How do you pick the girls?
So our application process is like just trying to get to know them a little bit and like what their intentions are. You know, what are they looking to benefit out of Diesel Hotties? Because we want to make sure they benefit as well as us. We just want down to earth people that have the interest in diesels, just like other women, because such a male dominated industry, it's really hard to find other women that not only are interested in as well, but also have a good heart. Like they're not going to think it's a competition or like think you're trying to go for their man. Like you're trying to find other women who like the same thing.
Right.
So we interview them. I think like the last few, like I've been handling all the interviews since 2017. Until this year, like a lot of our girls have stepped up to the plate, and I would interview over 200 people every year, go on a Zoom call with every single person and just try to get to know them. So it was a lot. I met a lot of new people, but.
And that process started when? The actual like the building of your team of Diesel Hotties, the women.
2017.
17. Okay. So anything happened in 2020 that impact you guys at all? Did it like put a stall to anything? How'd you pivot during 2020?
I think a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, to kind of. So when we first brought in girls, they didn't need any requirement to have a diesel. They just needed an interest. So we had some girls that had diesels and some that didn't.
Also, you could have an EV girl interested in diesel, and she could have actually, I'm an EV girl,
in theory,
but I have an interest in diesels, but I'm an EV girl. She would have qualified. Like I would have qualified if I was an EV. Like if you guys actually allowed guys into the club, and I have an EV, but I have an interest in diesels, I would have I would have made it. Potentially.
Well, in theory,
like if
yes,
if I was actually a likable guy, I would have made it.
We have girls that have cars, and they have other things that they're interested in. But yes, if you had some type of interest in diesels, you were allowed to come in. So it was very broad, and we noticed that our girls that own diesels or put more commitment into, the organization, they weren't feeling as appreciated because you have other girls. Like it was hard to network all of them and have them all feeling like they're benefiting. So we tried to create, and we were trying to do all these events, And I remember the first show, it was Smoky Mountain Truck Fest. Everyone wanted to be an event girl, and we had like 20 girls dressed all in the same. Like we looked like we were an army. Like we came in and it really intimidated
You're
people.
a football team, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. It was so we kind of from all those things mixture. We made 3 groups. So you have a general group, so you still have the passion, but you're more for like we have a good support team and we try to make sure people can connect with someone if they're going through something. We have our club hotties, which are the girls that actually own the diesels, which we can help them brand and help them, work on growing whatever their goals are for their truck. That's what we try to work for. And then we have event girls who are more like looking for the exposure and they want to do like going to the show, doing live shooting, things in that aspect. This year we did take the general, like anyone who was grandfathered in was good, but we did stop temporarily the general side because some of our girls didn't feel appreciated or they didn't feel like they were getting as many opportunities as the event and club hotties. So we're like trying to revamp it, see how
But
we
isn't
can
that,
do
from
it.
my understanding of the Hotties organization, like just still a function of like it's one of those situations where like you're going to get out of it as much as you want to put into it, type of thing?
Yeah, so honestly, our only requirement is literally to just post once a week. And we do not require any of our ladies to go to events. We don't require them to go to photo shoots.
Right.
But you have to put in the work for you to get the benefit.
Sure. So it mirrors basically, and I know I talk about this in almost not only every podcast, but like just in life in general. I feel that your system mirrors kind of social media in our world in general right now. It's like, people complain all the time, like, I can't get any engagement or I'm not getting my views or my likes. And it's like, it's a function of commitment, really.
It really
You
is.
really can't sit there and complain that, hey, I'm not getting my engagement if you're posting once a week, because really it requires the type of engagement maybe you're looking for. It requires a more consistent and deliberate method of approaching your social media. And that's always been kind of whatever mentoring I purportedly try to do with my team has always been centered around, look, obviously from a business perspective, I work with my influencers and my partners to help them grow because selfishly and candidly, like if my partner is growing, then that means that there are more people that are seeing my partner who is obviously going to showcase me from time to time. So yeah, there's total incentive on my part and always has been from day one to provide and nourish the growth of your social media. But I just can't make you do it.
That's the thing. You have to like it cannot feel like like an inconvenience. Like you just
Yeah.
have to have fun and do it. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle. But we're learning too. And, we're always trying to look for new ways of how we can help our ladies get to that point if that is their objective. So, like experiences I have personally learned, or any of our ladies who have learned on how to grow in the social media world or, in the diesel industry, we're starting to open discussions with our girls, like this is what I do, this is how I set up my phone, like anything and everything. We're trying to work with one another to help. So I think Diesel Hotties is going in a great direction because we're at this point where we have enough experience now. We can actually kind of help our ladies grow. And that's what happens with a lot of them. They start with little to no followers. And we've seen a lot of our girls go from 2,000 followers to 20,000 followers. So I think it's going right. But everyone makes mistakes. Everyone learns from
Yeah,
communication.
totally. So the mentorship aspect of it is very
Pretty
important.
much, yeah.
Very important part of what makes a Diesel Hotties an appealing organization to be involved with.
Yeah.
So speaking of the social media platforms, so Chelsea has a pretty robust Facebook following and a growing and sizable Instagram account. And then recently you started TikTok. How long ago did you start TikTok?
I started consistently posting probably a month ago.
About a month ago. And you're up to how many on TikTok now?
I am now at 28,000.
That's incredible. Fantastic. And you attribute this to what? Your growth on TikTok. What made you successful in all 3 of these platforms?
TikTok honestly is just having fun. And I know that like sounds kind of cliche, but just like I just flip through and I'm like, oh, that sound, I can relate to it this way. And then I just set up my phone and do it. I feel like TikTok's a lot more easier, one, to get exposure, but two, as long as you're not like trying hard, that's I feel
Don't
like the one.
overthink it,
Yeah,
basically.
don't
Just do
overthink
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yes, just go for it.
Yeah.
And some of them, like I maybe get like 40 likes, and
Mhm.
then or 100 views, and then some that I really just like hurry up threw it on my TikTok and
Yeah.
then went about my day. I had a 3.4 million viewed
Yeah.
video.
Yeah. We discovered that a long time ago on Instagram as well. It's like we would spend all this time and effort taking media at an event, at a show or whatever, and all this time to edit and re-edit and add music and make it look good and beautiful, whatever. And it would just like get a very average, sometimes below average acceptance rate. And then sometimes it's just the raw videos where we're just pulling up the phone and taking a picture of somebody polishing or detailing and talking some smack. And those are the ones that do the best for us, ironically.
I've noticed with TikTok especially, they just like people want to see something that's relatable.
Mhm.
Like they want to see something that they can connect with, or they
Mhm.
think that's super hilarious that happens to them. Like there's stuff on TikTok all the time. I'm like, wow, I'm not the only one who does that. Well, that's good. I'm not that weird. At least
Yeah.
one other person does it with me.
At least one other. So, given the three different platforms that you're primarily on, do you create different media for each one of those, or how do you manage the three platforms? Because they're all very important still and relevant in today's world. I don't think, in spite of all the talk about Facebook, I thought 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I thought Facebook was dead. It's just still like, maybe I've taken a couple of bruises lately, but it's still, I think it's going to be around for a little while.
So it's kind of funny. So the only reason why I made my Facebook page to begin with to be a backup Diesel Hottie page.
Mm.
So just in case for any reason that the Diesel Hottie page went down, and I honestly was not doing anything with it for a while, and I had probably like 5,000 followers, and I was like, wow, like I really need to actually like engage with it. So all I did was I connected my Instagram, and whenever I posted something on Instagram, I would just share it there.
Sure.
And I
Mhm.
wouldn't even go and look to see what the engagement was on my Facebook. And then I crap you not, I just randomly looked at it one day and I was like, is that right? And it said I had 380,000 followers. And I was
That's
like,
great.
there's no way. But I do notice like when I was doing that, it was primarily all of my modeling pictures. So I do find that Facebook wants more of that side of me. Whereas my Instagram is more of like my truck. Like now that I've established my niche to like my
Mhm.
change, I do think that, of course, everyone loves the Chelsea when she actually does something with her life. But, they will also accept the real Chelsea, which is I always have a bun, I have my Crocs on, and I'm getting into something. So,
Hey, so Jordan, maybe you know this. Okay, so Instagram is a vertical format. YouTube is horizontal. TikTok is vertical. Oh, I can't for the life of me remember. Is Facebook horizontal or vertical?
it's horizontal. Or at least when
You're
I
sharing
post.
horizontal because you're sharing off of your Instagram.
Mhm.
But what is what makes what is the preferred for Facebook? Isn't it horizontal?
I think videos are.
Yeah, they're doing like their own reels, so those would be vertical, but a lot of them are still horizontal.
Still a lot of I think
There's reels on
still,
Facebook now?
well, you can share it to you can do reels, you can share them
I
also.
think they're rolling that out.
Yeah, they just announced that, so you can do reels on Facebook. I think there's a lot of horizontal still on Facebook by virtue of the fact that, and I find this, for example, in the different markets we work with. There's our biggest market tends to still be the heavy equipment big rig market, which is an older market, and it's an older demographics that are still accustomed sometimes to taking pictures and sharing them in a horizontal format. There's
Yeah.
still a lot of that goes on.
Well, a lot of like I feel anyone in their 30s or up, or at least in the older generation, they're primarily on Facebook. There's very rarely like even like my friends that have motorcycles or like the big rig. When I spoke to some people, they're not on Instagram. They're not
Yeah.
on TikTok. They're just
That's the Facebook crowd. Definitely. That's the Facebook crowd. When Facebook first, came out as one of the larger more well-known platforms way back when. I think a lot of people, I mean, would have been basically the Instagram of its time was Facebook. So like what, your generation, basically would have hopped onto it way back when on Facebook. And some just, many of them, like many of my big riggers are on Facebook primarily. And may have, sometimes they'll have an Instagram account, but they don't really do too much with it. Ironically, I am seeing more and more big riggers hopping onto TikTok. Like they're like bypassing the whole Instagram experience and going just straight to TikTok now.
Yeah, my dad did that actually.
Yeah.
He went from Facebook straight to TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm
what are
seeing
you
a lot of
watching?
that. Yeah.
I think TikTok, it's easier for you to get exposed. You see so much variety without having to go and like physically follow someone. I think that's why people like it.
Yeah, I like TikTok for that very reason. It's the ease of use. It's just so easy to just to scroll and just watch and just stop and watch and keep scrolling. It's just so much easier than Facebook in itself as a platform. It's laborious almost. It's like a very difficult sometimes. It's there's a lot of, I don't want to sound like an idiot, but there's a lot of reading involved. I just don't really have that time. It's like I'll read the stuff I want to read, don't get me wrong, but I think one of the things that handicaps Facebook right now that has not handicapped TikTok, at least not yet, it's like, man, when I'm scrolling, and I get almost all my news now on Facebook because I'm fed what I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
I like 1 out of 3 things is an ad now. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah. Do you know they're actually switching their name? They're like called Meta now.
Meta, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I see it on the bottom of Instagram.
Sure. Mm-hmm. It's all Meta now. All right. So where's Diesel Hotties going in the future? Is it just a continued expansion of what you're doing? It's like, what you have any long-term goals?
Like I said, we're always trying to improve. So now we're in the phase where we're trying to help our ladies, the ones that are wanting to get in, be an influencer or try to learn what it is.
Yeah.
We're trying to find tools and ways for them to be that. But we're also we're kind of expanding outside of the diesel world. So now we have diesel kiddos, which is, for like having a kid line because you have your future, your future generation coming in. And then we also have Jeep Hotties, which is up and upcoming.
Right. So Jeep Hotties, let's talk about that for a second. Jeep Hotties, that just came on the scene very recently. When did that actually, that was just like, it's like only a couple, 3 months old, right?
Yeah. It's very, very new.
And what's the purpose of that? What are you focusing on and what are you hoping to do with that demographics?
So a lot of our ladies that do not own diesels that are in Diesel Hotties, they actually own Jeeps.
Uh-huh.
And, unfortunately, that is a scene I've just never been in. So, I know it's big. I just didn't know how big. So, some of our ladies have really wanted to go above and beyond and actually be the face and to put in the work to grow it. So some of our girls, Harley and Sarah, are.
So let's talk about Harley for a second. Harley, from what you've told me, is actually one of the OG Diesel Hotties, right?
She is an OG. She actually was with Ridgely Car Show with me.
Ah, okay. But did she did she have a diesel?
No.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
So she kind of skipped that whole diesel thing, went straight to the Jeep Hotties. Well, I mean, she was a diesel.
She was a diesel hottie.
Yeah, but now with her, she's a Jeep. She has a Jeep, so she's a Jeep girl.
Yeah. So
now she's a Jeep hottie, and she is the brand manager essentially for the Jeep Hotties at this point. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And so she'll be going. Harley will be going with Chelsea and Boss Lady. They'll be going on tour this year. And Chelsea has shared with me some of a very robust schedule of tours the tour schedule that is. Yeah. So good luck to you. We did a lot of touring last year, and my God, it's just exhausting.
Yeah, especially during the hot season. So anywhere from June to August, every weekend is a show. So we are in some state.
Oh, yeah.
So it's pretty exciting. It's definitely when it's all done, you're like, I just want a weekend home.
Yeah, no, I understand what that is. So, I'm glad that you guys are expanding beyond just the diesel world and into the Jeep world. Mm-hmm. Because, obviously, you never know what's going to happen in the next 5-10 years, with electric vehicles coming out. I still think there's going to be somewhere along the way, and I'd like to actually, plant that seed now and be a part of it if it's possible. The EV Hotties, EVH for short. EVH. I'm an EVH. And hopefully you have some guys in there. Like, I personally don't ever see myself owning an electric vehicle. That's just not something I would ever do, to be honest with you. I may preach it.
Why?
I'm just afraid of range. Range is, I'm just afraid of range. I'm like one of those dudes that likes to fill the gas at the last possible moment. And I just don't want to be caught without charging somewhere on the freeway or anywhere else for that matter.
See, you can't push something that you don't believe in.
No, I think I can.
Hmm.
Just for sake of
Well, I'll let
conversation.
you do that.
Come on, let's start EV Hotties with me.
I cannot.
EV8. Don't make me call boss lady.
You can call boss lady,
I'll
and
call
she's
boss
gonna
lady.
be more upfront and be like, "What is wrong with you? What are you drinking today?"
Well, you just went to gasoline like 2 months ago. What's the story? Like, it's the next progression.
Oh gosh. We went to Jeeps.
All right, well, we'll see.
That's off-roading. It's still fun, and I don't think enough people that like. Well, you obviously have like the car scene, and you have like people who do imports and the low riding.
Yeah.
So that's definitely
we're into the tuner scene. Actually, we sponsor a great group of a great team, right? Team Hybrid, which is a very very successful tuner team. They're all around the country. They have several chapters around the country. They got some great looking vehicles.
Yeah, so that stuff is very interesting too,
Yeah.
and those are gas. I
Yeah.
can't do that.
I'm
You
just
just gotta
trying-
give up on that. Well, for now, I feel like anyone who does have a electric vehicle, I don't feel like you don't see many of them in this like any type of scene. Like they don't do
No, there isn't a
events.
scene
They
yet,
don't
yeah.
get together.
Yeah, it's not like
just
they're doing a Tesla cars and coffee. Tesla's only or
yeah.
something like that.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see groups like that.
But you're still young and beautiful, Chelsea. Who knows what's going to happen when you're like 20 years from now? When Paxton is like he's driving around in his, EV.
No, he's definitely a fan of his father's truck, so I try to get him to like my truck more, but it's just not happening.
All right, so let's talk about social media real quick. Social media is here to stay. Like it, don't like it, it's just a fact of life. For those people that are actually engaged in the business of doing business on social media, that is just a big part of what we do. That's a big part of our life, a big part of your life, obviously. So I'm going to ask you a question. Like, does Chelsea, can Chelsea survive without social media? What happened if can Chelsea just walk away from it today and say, it was fun, but I don't know, I'm done. I got other things to do.
Oh, of course. There are times where I do. I'm like, do I really want to do this?
Really?
Yeah. So I just started full time in excavation, construction, doing all the dirt work. So I have that as a full time job. I finally, for the first time in a long time, only have one job. And then I'm kind of a geek. I have my chickens and I have my garden.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to live off the land one day. So
that's all those eggs you harvest every day.
Yeah. Well, for some reason, I was like, let's get 18 chickens. So that's where I'm at now.
All right. But it's not like you're walking away from it. You can walk away from it. If you do walk away from it, it doesn't impact you. It's not like you're making your living off of social media. It's not like, hey, I need the endorsements or I need the sponsorships or any of that kind of stuff. So you can just shut it down tomorrow and just your standard of living will not be affected.
Yep.
Which is a great position to be in.
Yeah. The only thing
does it impact Diesel Hotties if you do that?
Well, I feel like if we still attended the shows like we do, that's our biggest, I think, impact. Social media is nice and all, and you see hundreds of social pages and someone will just randomly start selling shirts and stuff. But I think the connections that we make at shows, as well as myself, that's why I love going to shows, because I get to talk to other people who love first gens. Or when we go to shows for Diesel Hotties, we get to meet other women who have a passion because they're buying the apparel, and we get to have conversations with them. And I think that's what benefits over social media at the end of the day.
Gotcha. Some people increasingly uh, do make their living on social media.
Hmm.
And I think there's going to be more and more of that going on. I think it's an ongoing changing process. I think, that's always, it's never static in my opinion. It's just changing all the time. The way people go to market, the way they work with sponsors. But for your girls and for you in particular, maybe like when I asked this, I asked Jeannie this when we did the podcast a couple of weeks ago. It's like, what do you do, Chelsea, when you're just not in the mood, but you have to?
Oh, post?
Mm.
I typically try to find like an old video or something I haven't posted in a long time, or like a throwback. Honestly, like when I just do not have the time, like at least I have a couple seconds where I can like, okay, let me just find like a picture that I really like that's from 4 years ago.
So you just do a little bit of recycling, basically.
Hmm.
And why do you do that?
So I can continue my engagement because like and it's so dramatic, but it's so true. Like if I miss one day of posting, like I don't know what the algorithm is, but like half the people next time I post won't even see it.
Great. And that's what I want to get at, basically, is basically the consistency of posting.
Hmm.
Whether you want to do it or not want to do it, either you feel like it or you're not feel like it, you're sick, you're tired,
Yeah.
you're busy, whatever it is. If you want to have a successful impact in social media, yes, for yourself, but definitely if you want to attract the attention of partners and sponsors, man, you just gotta do it. There's just like no other way.
Yeah, and I mean, if you know you're like not going to be able to have the time to to get on your phone as you want to, or at least at prime time, like you can always schedule that stuff, especially through
Mm-hmm.
like Facebook to go to Instagram and stuff. But people like my throwbacks anyway because back in the day I actually had to ask, so they like those type of pictures. I just lost a lot of weight when I got my thyroid disease, so unfortunately, like everyone thinks I purposely lost a bunch of weight, but it was
Hey, so how
completely
much weight did you
unintentional.
lose in that whole experience so far?
30 pounds.
Well, that's a lot of weight. My
Yeah,
God.
yeah, and everyone's like, "You're too thin," and I went through so much
Tell us
crap
tell us about
on
that. What
social
what happened?
media. So I've been type 1 diabetic for 10 years. Um, and like a common factor when you get, when you're type 1 is usually it's called Hashimoto's disease. It's pretty much like just like your pancreas, your white blood cells, like it attacks it to destroy it. So the next thing is like your thyroids. And your thyroids, believe it or not, like control everything, your hormones, all that crap. So um when I went to the doctor and I was trying to figure out what was wrong with me, and that was one of the things like I finally found out and I started treating it, which luckily it's super easy.
Is what are you taking, like a thyroid medication basically
Yeah.
for it?
Yep, that's it. And they figure out whatever
What are you taking?
dosage.
You're taking like a blended thyroid or like armor thyroid
I
or
don't know. It's just like
the,
levothyroxine. I
oh, I
don't I
got you.
don't
Okay.
I
So you're
don't
taking like a T4 basically, like a T4.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So once I did that, I noticed because like I always had a trouble losing weight. Like I
Mhm.
just want, um like no matter how much I worked out, how
Yeah.
nicely I ate,
Yeah.
and then
Thyroid
it was a huge factor.
it was dragging you down. It wasn't letting you metabolize correctly.
Yeah, and I was always tired, that whole
Yep.
gist. And when
Hmm.
I started taking the
Your skin was
medication,
dry, all that kind of shit and everything like that.
yeah. When I took the medication, it just started falling off. Didn't
Hmm.
matter what I ate or how much I ate of it, like
Well, it just revved up your metabolism.
yeah.
Chelsea, for those of you that follow her, know exactly what I'm talking about. And for the new followers to come, she's got an incredible OBS called Paradise. And Paradise is in reconstruction mode right now. And what are we going to do with Paradise, Chelsea?
So currently, I have started bringing some body parts. Like right now, it's the bed and the tailgate over to a body shop to start doing.
No, what is it? It's an 84?
No, it is a 91
Oh, it's
early.
close.
No. The whole front end is completely different. And unless you do a diesel swap, that's a gas engine.
Ooh.
Mm.
All right, so it's a 91.
Mm-hmm.
91.
Early 91.
Early 91. Okay. As opposed to like, there's like, what happens if it's a later 91? Is it a
Then
different?
it typically has a different diesel engine.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and you got this like 3 years ago?
Yeah, June will be 3 years.
June will be 3 years. And so it's going under the knife right now
Mm-hmm.
for reconstruction and beautification so that you can do what with it?
I just really like my truck, and this is how I was with my motorcycle. I just want it to look so masculine. Like, I just want it to look so aggressive, so mean, and then I just pop out and I say, hi.
Hi, y'all.
Yeah, it's just me.
Hi,
Like,
y'all.
and no shame to anyone who, like, loves their, more feminine colors. I just want something that just looks...
What are we going? Are you sharing the color scheme or not yet?
Not yet, but it
Okay.
is going to be two-toned, but the two-tone is not typical to that generation truck. The type
alright.
of two-tone I'm going
Okay.
with.
Are you getting any steps on it, or are you just gonna hop in and out?
I have electric steps on there
Oh,
now.
okay.
Amp Research. They work
Alright.
phenomenal.
Who are your other sponsors?
I work with Move Bumpers.
Mm-hmm.
They came out with a new bolt-on, so you don't have to weld. They have a front bumper out currently, but the rear one's coming soon. I do Archon wheels,
Mm-hmm.
Fury tires. Plan B did my suspension, so I have a 12-inch custom 4-link coilover suspension.
You don't have to change that. That's going to stay the same, right?
Yeah, the only thing I'm doing with that is just, obviously recoloring the overlays and the crossover steering and things like that. Some others. Mechanical-wise, I was working with Redhead steering gears. They gave me, and obviously I'm like lifted so high and I'm on 40, so it's really aggressive on your OEM steering box. So I upgraded to an 18:1 ratio steering box, and they rebuilt my intermediate shaft. So
Oh, wow.
working with them.
That's quite a bit of work. Anything on the interior, changing anything seating wise or anything, stereo, that kind of stuff?
So I'm going to attempt to do my own upholstery. But I have a whole new audio system. So Memphis Audio, I'm working with them. I have 2 new subwoofers. I'm going to put like 4 speakers. It's going to be very obnoxious for a single cab. Like right now with my 2 subwoofers, like all my windows shake when I have it.
Sweet.
But why not go extreme?
Hey, so is it bucket seats or is it like a bench seat on the inside?
It's a bench seat.
Okay.
So I like the old school. I want the leather where it burns. It burns, and I get sweaty in the summer.
Totally. Yeah.
Cold on the winter.
Yeah, for sure. You know how to live life, don't you?
I like my truck like I like my man.
All right, good. So when you have like a anticipated finish date on that thing when you hopefully get all that done? That's a lot of work
to get everything done.
Yeah.
My goal is to have it before the wedding. So October 1st is going to be my like.
Oh, somebody's getting married. Did everybody know that?
About time.
When did we decide to do that?
Aaron proposed November 6th.
Why November 6th? Is that a special day in your lives?
No, but it was a special moment. So,
okay.
We were actually on a train, like a really old historic train, and
like a diesel train.
We rode it into Paradise, PA. So it was in apropos. Paradise. And when the train stopped for them to switch it to turn around, he just got down on one knee.
Whoa.
So it was really good. It was really nice.
Not bad. Yeah, Aaron.
Very bougie.
Yeah.
So.
That's so romantic.
Waited so damn long for him to propose. Oh, shit. Oh, crap.
How long you guys been together?
July 8th will be 4 years.
Oh.
So over 3.5 years. So we're not waiting that long to get married.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are you ranting CHELSEY1225?
I'm about to rant.
What is the rant about?
Because you keep pushing my buttons.
About
this
what?
Electric stuff. You know what? These electric vehicles is probably why my electric bill went up 300%. Because they are talking to, like...
It's okay. Get it out, honey. Don't worry about it. Your electric bill went up 300%?
Well... I wouldn't say I would say 200%.
It's not from a top ramen on your stove that you're cooking. It's from something else, or is that gas?
No, it's because the electric companies are claiming that electric's going up 29% in general because overall usage is being more. You know why there's more electric being used? Because these cars.
Damn. Fuck, now I understand. Dude.
Well, what about solar though?
Don't fucking complicate it, Jordan. It's just
I'm just mad. I bet you that's why, because everyone's plugging their electric cars into the vehicle.
Now, I appreciate that commentary, and I'll tell you why. Okay, now that's a very specific way of telling your point of view.
Here's why I can't tell you shit. Stuff. I can't tell you stuff because then it gets used against me.
No, what? What?
I really can't say that word.
Well, you have to. So that's obviously not your safe word then.
No, power stroke is, because it's got to be something you don't like.
Power stroke is.
No, well, your safe word should be something that you don't like, so the person stops, So Aaron and I agreed we both hate power strokes.
So you should switch it to EV, and it's shorter. Aaron, EV, 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 motherfucker.
Okay, I'll tell Aaron that. I can't.
All right, CHELSEY1225. Wrapping up with CHELSEY1225. 1225. I guess we'll see you around. I'll see you tomorrow. See you at Lone Star tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
And then Mid-America Trucking.
Boop.
The big rig truck scene, our SEMA version of big rigs, coming up at the end of March. We'll see CHELSEY1225 over there as well. We're looking forward to her interaction with more diesel.
That's where my heart lies.
Yeah, but there are some EV trucks coming out. Did you know that?
Okay, Rami.
Okay, I guess that's it. That's a wrap.